Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is, at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. What we're going to talk about today, folks, is very interesting. It happened to be that I went into the lion's den, and I think you guys are going to be excited to find out what I actually went through. I think you're going to be excited to find out what things looked like in the lion's den. So what I'm hoping for is that all of you get with the program and see what we're talking about, because folks, I can tell you, we are going to have a good time today. And you know what? In the process, we're not going to be doing anything. We're not going to be doing any bashing. We're not going to be doing anything of sort. What we're going to be doing is just laying it out. And when we lay it out, we can start being accurate in the things that we're talking about. We can start being accurate in all the things that we do. Folks, we are going to have a great show today, but remember what I always tell you when you just get started. Please do remember to go ahead and share these programs. Share this program on your Twitter. Share this program on your wall. Share this program on your page. Share this program everywhere, because you know what? The only way we are going to make the change that we're talking about is if all of us become change agents. I know that sounds sort of cliche, but all of us must become change agents. So go ahead and share this right now. I see more people coming in. I really need you to go share the show right now so that we can get busy. We will be getting busy in a little bit. I promise you, we will be getting busy in a little bit. Now, folks, before I get started, and all of you that are here, stick with me for a second. I always start the show. I have to do a quick little pitch on the show, and that is like to tell you guys, please remember this is a progressive show, and this is a progressive show that needs your support. It's very easy to support Politics and Right by just going by patreon.com/politics and right. That is patreon.com/politics done right. And with that little promo, I ask you to just go to the link that's right there under the post. If you are on the on Blog Talk Radio or Coffee Party Radio, you can go ahead and just go ahead and type that in. So we are back to where we were before. Now, folks, let me tell you. A friend of mine called me up and said, Egberto, we are going to be going, or I'm thinking about going to this Republican event. Want to come? What am I going to say? I always do that. I always go to these events. So here is how it went. And well, I am not going to start by saying, here is how it went. I'm going to start by saying, let's really start the show. And you know what the name of the show is today? Anybody knows what the name of the show is today? Did anybody pick up the printouts that we had on the Facebook page? And one of the reasons I'm stalling here is I'm trying to pull it up myself. You know how that goes. Sometimes you get a little late start. Well, I'm on one of those little late start. This title of the show today is called The Liberal. Hold on, it's coming. This liberal spent some time in the right-wing lion's den and loved it. But then again, I'm the guy who hung out with Daniel Boone's descendants out there in West Houston at a honky-tonky bar, you know, that kind of a stuff, that when I walk in, they look at me and say, who's this dude and what is he doing here? And I went in there and I had a whole lot of fun. As well. Anyhow, subtitle of the show: I did not enjoy watching politicians mislead their flock. We have a lot of work to do to counter the right wing. Here it goes. I went to a Republican forum featuring 2 right-wing candidates. I found myself entertained, but alternate reality was hard to endure. The candidate forum between 2 Republican primary candidates proves an important point. The right wing lives in an alternate state of reality. The candidates adopted the biggest Trump flaw, lying, because they have the trust of the community and a corresponding media and right-wing think tank support. They can mislead a large sect of society. But you know what? Before we go into the show, I want to remind you guys of what happened today. And this time, it was in my neck of the woods. We had a domestic terrorist in our neck of the wood here in Texas. I mean, we're listened to all over the world, but I'm talking about Texas now. You know, we are the state that wants all these guns. We are the state that think immigrants are the ones that are going to come in and cause us harm. We are the state that believe all these bad things are going to happen. And what happened today? Today, 10 people were killed, not by an immigrant, not by somebody illegally crossing the border, but by some hack kid who is following the tenets of Donald Trump, of his supremacist belief, of his nativist beliefs, and coming into our society, killing and maiming. We have not a domestic, not somebody coming over as an immigrant, but we have a kid, a young white kid who Donald Trump has been instilling in their minds that somehow our government is out to get them. Somehow everybody else is out to get them. And what do? How do they execute that? They execute that by killing and maiming innocent people. You know, just arbitrarily killing and maiming innocent people. Now, I have been watching the news for some time, and then I finally got tired of the loop and turned it off. Okay? In turning it off, I turned it off after spending a whole lot of time and nobody calling it a domestic terrorist issue. I don't care if they want to call it healthcare or whatever, because no matter what they use to try to define it, it is not only wrong, but it's something that could be prevented. And if our government were doing its job, it would not have occurred. If they said he has a mental problem, well then having a good healthcare system would have mitigated that healthcare problem. And you know we don't have a good healthcare system for those people who are terrible. Okay? Secondly, if gun control. Nobody wants to say gun control. I'll say gun control. Take guns out of the hands of people. Why? Because all those people who say, well, that is my Second Amendment right, and the reason that I want to have my Second Amendment right is to prevent tyranny. I'd like to see you use one of those AK-47 against an F-16, or AK-47 against a bazooka, or A-47 against someone of a small nuclear bomb. You know, the arguments for everybody having guns make no sense, but the science is there. Most people who have guns hurt the people they love the most. Most people who have guns actually got their guns used against them. People can say, oh, that is caused by a lack of training. It doesn't really matter. That is what's actually occurring. That is what is actually occurring. So, folks, let's get real. For you guys that are listening to the show right now, I have another ask. Other than asking you to always share the program, the other ask is to tell you to go out there and start being proactive on the gun issue. Start being proactive on the healthcare issue. Start being proactive on every issue. You know why? Because what they depend on is when the right wing use their think tanks and come out with silly types of information, the idea is that you are going to believe it and you're just going to have it done. No. Gun control, universal health care based on single-payer Medicare for all system, and we need to start having, we need to always remember our students. Anyhow, we are going to get to the program. Guess what time it is, my dear friends? Guess what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, let me tell you, folks. Let me tell you. I titled this blog post, "This Liberal Went to a Right-Wing Candidate Forum and Saw an Alternate Reality." Again, this liberal went to a right-wing candidate forum and saw an alternate reality. Now, here it goes. I've been to Tea Party events and many other right-wing events. While these events always left me baffled, there was some modicum of reality to those past events. Trump has bred a new kind of politicians and followers. And what I saw was dangerous and alternate reality. There is one silver lining, however. And you know what is that silver lining? I went into that room. And what I saw, one, was a whole lot of scared people, but two were a whole lot of people that in the next few years, and I don't mean to sound harsh, but in the next few years won't matter. Okay? These are a lot of scared people who are set in their ways, but ultimately in the direction that this country is going, they won't really matter. The problem is at this point in time, they still have power. At this point in time, they still matter. So therefore, we must, in fact, mitigate it. Oh, thank you for my happy birthday message, Mr. William Bill McLeod, who is running for judge. Please do remember, guys, when you get to November, Mr. McLeod is a very good guy that the Blue Wave must bring in as well. So thank you. And folks, since he brought up my birthday, before I finish with that blog of the week, I'm gonna do a plug here for myself. As a birthday gift, my friends, I have to get several hundred people to sign up to subscribe to Politics Done Right. So as a birthday gift to yours truly, why don't you follow patreon.com/Politics Done Right and subscribe to our show? It's less than a coffee. Subscribe to our show, Politics Done Right, patreon.com/Politics Done Right. Again, that is patreon.com/Politics Done Right. You want a good excuse to give today and right now by clicking on that link under the post. It's my birthday. Give the man a birthday present. Be a subscriber of this show that's making sure the progressive message goes out and making sure the progressive message of all progressives go out. Okay, that's my pitch. Back to the show. Okay, I'm going to read over that first paragraph and then we'll continue straight through. It goes as follows. I've been to Tea Party events and many other right-wing events. While these events always left me baffled, there was some modicum of reality to those past events. Trump has bred a new kind of politicians and followers, and what I saw was dangerous, an alternate reality. There is one silver lining, however. They are not going to be around for much longer. But here is the thing, folks. The candidate forum between two Republican primary candidates proves an important point. The right wing lives in an alternate state of reality. The candidates adopted the biggest Trump flaw. And what is the biggest Trump flaw? Biggest Trump flaw, other than losing money in business and other than bankrupting business. His biggest flaw is lying. And that is what their candidates went up to that podium and did. Unfortunately, these good people that were out there listening believed them, but we'll continue with that in a little bit. The candidates adopted Trump's biggest flaw, lying, because they have the trust of the community and a corresponding media and right-wing think tank support. They can mislead a large section of society. I want to be clear, and I want to be very, 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 very clear. These are not evil people. You know, there are nationalists. There are some. I'm not these people. I'm saying there are some of these folks that are white nationalists. There are some of these people that are KKK. There are some of these people that are really, really white supremacists. There are a lot of people that are white supremacists that don't know. But again, that's not where we're heading to. These people that were in this room are people that I would sit down and I would be happy to go and have coffee with them and say, I would like you to consider voting for this particular progressive. A lot of these people, if you come with the ask, because all these folks know that when they go behind the booth, it's between themselves and God who they vote for. They don't have to go to their friends, their right-wing friends, and say, guess what, I finally supported them. They can lie if they want to. So my thing is not to make enemies with these good people that I sat down with and listened to these two crooks that are running for Congress. My thing was to go in there and understand what these people are being told. That is the way you make a difference. You don't make a difference just calling these people stupid. You don't make a difference just saying they are naive, ignorant, or whatever. Because I tell you what, anybody who doesn't have the facts or the information is naive and ignorant. I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, or whatever. So my goal in my life as an activist is not to demean, but to build up. I'll be strong, I'll be forceful, but it's to build up. So these good people were there to listen. I want to be clear. These are, again, I repeat, these are people that are not evil people. A well-designed system convinced some who were predisposed to the programming. Again, these people are scared. They were predisposed to believe these things. They were predisposed to believe that their whiteness was a guarantee. They were predisposed to believe that because they're white, everything should go their way. They were predisposed to believe that unless you're conservative, certain things apply. They were predisposed to believe that liberals somehow want to take things away from them and give it to those others, so that those small amount of, let's say, white liberals will somehow now be in control. These people really believe that. They've told me that. They've told me that the small sect of white liberals are using all those minorities that make up the Democratic Party, so that this small sect of white liberals will control everything and just have those people that they used to do it. I am not making this stuff up. That is what's being promoted in their domain. They have to find a reason why any white person would be a Democrat or a progressive, and into a party that is not a monolith, into a party that is shared. And those are the kind of techniques that they use. You have to understand the mentality that's going out here. The other mentality is somehow remember what we did to them. We can't give them power because at some time they may return and do it to us. I've also heard that. You know, one of the things that I'm lucky about is that people of all persuasions, I think they detect that I really want the communication. And they would tell me these things. And I've had some of my, a few white friends say that. They always said, you know, the truth is we acknowledged that we've treated a whole lot of people horrendously wrong. And our biggest fear is that if we lose power, that somehow the reality of what will occur to us would be similar to what we did to them. That is not the case, and evidence proves otherwise. But, you know, I mean, those are the kinds of information that is being placed into these people's minds. And that's why many of them are scared. That's why many of them have the tenets that they follow. So we have to understand where these people are coming from. Anyway, so continuing. A few weeks ago, I got an email from Kevin, a past president of the Kingwood Area Democrats. He told me that a local organization was going to have a Republican primary candidate forum for Texas House District 2 featuring Dan Crenshaw and Kevin Roberts in the runoff. One of them will run against Democrat Todd Litton in the general election to replace Congressman Ted Poe. I told him I would go. I mean, you can never have me invited to a Republican event if I have the time, the availability, that I'm going to say no. Because to be a fisher, you're fishing for what you don't have. You don't fish for something you already have. That is what I give a lot of liberals problems, or progressives. I discuss that with them. Don't stop going into the same domain. Stop trying to get fish out of the same lake. You have to go elsewhere. You know, a lot of times we as progressives, we have a big rah, 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 and it's a whole, but you know, I see a lot of times the same people in these old, big old rah, rah, rahs, and it's like, great, we look great, and we are a bunch of us, there are thousands of us, and we're doing great. But the reality is, you're only doing great if you're growing your base from people that are available to be grown from. And notice I said if there are people to be grown from, because, you know, when it comes to an economy, I believe growth is not necessarily the best thing for an economy, but that's another story. You have to grow your base. So what I told people when I first blogged this, I just created a little Facebook page. I said, look, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, it goes as follows. So he told me that the local organization was go. I told him I would go. He texted me about 45 minutes before the event to let me know the place was packed. He said he got on the last table and was saving me a chair. As I walked in, people were leaving. Kingwood folk filled the place way beyond capacity. I can tell you one thing about Kingwood, and this is something the Democratic Party should learn. Folks in Kingwood are always engaged, not because they're intrinsically engaged people. They are engaged because they are worked at. These different organizations here work their people. When the Kingwood Area Democrats decided to become active again, what we did is we activated a Democratic base in Kingwood that nobody knew existed. I remember I remember going to one of the big functions, the Democratic functions in town, and I'm sitting down at a table that the Kingwood Area Democrats bought, and a good friend of mine, she's a well-known attorney, she comes to me and say, Berto, I didn't know that you had 12 Democrats in Kingwood, or 10, however big the table was. And I'm like, oh yeah, and this is only those of us who decided to buy the table. Look around the room and you see how many Democrats are from Kingwood. Because it turns out that Kingwood has a hell of a lot. My red little suburb, and this applies to all over the country that's listening to this. All these red suburbs, a lot of times the Democrats are ignored there, or they're discouraged from being entertained or whatever. And the reality is, look, folk, there are a lot of people there. There are a lot of people that can make up the deltas in these suburbs, and the Democratic Party have a tendency to completely and entirely ignore them, like they ignore Kingwood for all practical purposes, even though Kingwood is a good influx of money into the party in Harris County. Now, so my contention is this. I go fish where almost nobody are Democrats, and if I can get 2, 3, 4, 5% of those folk, I am ahead. I'm winning. And that is a mentality a lot of us have to have. The Democratic Party like to say, let's just bring out the base. You're not going to win with 50 plus 1, because that's not how we govern. Continuing, we have it. He texted me about 45 minutes to tell me the place was full, or the place was getting full. Kingwood folk filled the place way beyond capacity. I walked up to the front of the line wearing my iReport for CNN thing. You know, I used to do a whole lot of iReports for CNN. I think I got like 700 or something of them, either on TV or on their main CNN.com website for all the iReports that I did there. And I also won the Pundit of the Week, and I got several awards. I don't remember the particular award I got there, but I did a whole lot of stuff for CNN. So I had that CNN t-shirt, and I walked in there, and they were sending people out of the line. And so let me read it. I think I explained it here in detail. I purposefully wore my CNN t-shirt. They let me right through. I am not sure if I got in because of the t-shirt or because they did not want to deny entry to the only black person at the event. It was interesting. The only black person at the event. Kevin, I looked at Kevin and I said, hey, Kevin, are there any more black folks in here at all? And he said, Egberto, I think I saw one. I think you may be the second. When I looked at the guy, he was just there. He wasn't actually a part of the party. So I was the only black person in a room with several hundred people. Think about that. That's the kind of party we're talking about. Now, continuing the blog, I was the only black person at the event. I found the stairs amusing. I searched around till I found Kevin. He had a seat for me. I could detect that some of the people on the table seemed decidedly uncomfortable with my presence. Funny. One would think that I would be the one suffering some discomfort from my distinctness. I am comfortable in every environment because cauterized in my psyche is the reality that race is a social construct. So I don't care where the hell I go. I have fun. I talk to the people. I enjoy the people. I don't care what you look like or whatever. I have fun because, I understand. And not only that, I understand also that people get uncomfortable on these issues. I break the discomfort because what I do is I engage them before they get a chance for that part of the brain that is a fast reacting part of the brain. I get them so involved before that part of the brain take over that by the time they realize, oh, I need to be scared of this big black dude, they've already established a sort of relationship, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I am comfortable in every environment because cauterized in my psyche is a reality that race is a social construct. That is a part of my being and a tenet I am trying to get all Americans, all people to understand. Cynthia Calvert, publisher and CEO of the Tribune newspapers, was the moderator. She was the moderator of the event. It was a cookie-cutter, uneventful list of fundamental questions one would expect at any Republican event. I saw absolutely no difference between the two candidates on policy at all. But there was a difference on, well, here it is. Dan Crenshaw, the former U.S. Navy SEAL, is energetic with a brash delivery. He's a soldier, man, and when I was in Iraq, I did this, or when I was in wherever it was, I did this, and when the IUD explained that I was in a coma and I lost my eye, and bam! The glory, glory, hallelujah that Republicans tend to like, And then there was Kevin Roberts, comes across as patently dull, but one who is the legislator type. The thing about it is the voters in Kingwood, I have a tendency to believe they would go for the latter because they kind of like that thing. But the rest of the district, I think, would actually go for Crenshaw. So my contention is that it is likely to be a rather close election because Kingwood is overperforms in voting, but there's a whole lot more to District 2 than Kingwood. So we'll see what happens. So what did Trump adoring audience learn? And yes, they are, in fact, Trump adoring. A woman in front of me seemed to scoff when each of the candidates said they supported the president. I thought it was my opening. Someone out of the fog? Man, I have the camera up there taping this event. And by the way, the blog has a tape of what of the thing. It's only 40 something minutes long. It was pretty short. And I'm taping and I saw how she scoffed when Donald Trump names was called out when she spoke to her husband. So I said, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. So I asked this woman, hey, do you not support Donald Trump? She said, oh, no. I was just telling my husband he's kind of hard of hearing that what he said was Donald Trump. I don't know if that was the case, So, I don't think that was the case. I either misjudged her reaction or she did not want to break away from the prevailing thought. She told me she was repeating something to her husband when I asked her if her reaction was against Trump. You got to toe the line, baby. You got to toe the line. And I have a hunch that is what she was doing, towing the line. Anyhow, the Trump adoring the Trump adoring Republicans learned the following. Interesting. There is a deep state, unelected bureaucrats that they must extricate. So if you notice, Trump is the one who started bringing up making this big deep state an issue. What he's trying to do is discredit the FBI and all the agencies that we have in this country that maintains the laws, all the agencies within the executive. He wants to dismantle them. So this new terminology, the deep state, deep state, deep state. So you heard every candidate every time talking about deep state, deep state. Every candidate you hear, I love Trump and deep state. That is their motto. I love Trump, deep state. That is what they talked about. Secondly, disregard the mainstream media. Illegal immigrants continue to rush the border. Now, we have evidence that those are all lies, but that's what they're telling their people. And their people trust them. Why do I tell you that we have to work with these people? And a whole lot of my buddies, like Berta, you're simply and utterly nuts. You're simply and utterly crazy. No, I am not. What I'm trying to tell folks is simple. These people are severely misled, and they have people that look like they have stature misleading them. And if they have to choose one or the other, they choose the one closer to them unless somehow you can break through the ice. And you're maybe not going to break through the ice, but 10% or so. I mean, maybe. Okay? Maybe that's what you'll do. But my friends, that is what it's all about. What else did they hear? They heard that while California believes in sanctuary cities and being humane to immigrants, our Texas government want to be inhumane to immigrants. Unlike the business community, though. The business community wants our immigrants. The business community want that cheap labor to take care of the fields. The business community want that cheap labor to work in the kitchens, washing dishes and all that sort of stuff that a lot of Americans don't want to do. So there is a hypocrisy that goes on between the government and reality, right? What they do is they claim they want to be strong on the borders, and they deport and they make a big issue out of some of the people coming over the border, like from El Salvador and Nicaragua and all those places. But in reality, they don't want to solve the problem because the people that are paying their bills, the people that are donating to their politics, to their coffers, are Republican businessmen. And these Republican businessmen depend on this labor. So they play a cat and mouse game, right? They don't really deport, but in order to keep their people pissed off, they have to put their hate somewhere. Hating black folks is not big enough. I mean, hating black folk is only 13% of the population. You got to have enough people to hate. You need to have enough people to hate. And that is where they're at. So we can use the immigrants to hate, but later on, we can make amends to make sure that hate doesn't come entirely and completely to harm us all. What else did they say? They won't cut Social Security for old folks? Of course not, because old folks vote. Oh, you've invested in your Social Security and we made a promise to you and we're going to keep it. It's a lie, because they have things like that tread-in. I don't remember the kind of CPI that they intend to put onto Social Security, so that Social Security does not really rise at the same level as inflation. That is another way of killing Social Security. They don't tell you that, though. But what then they say? But migration or privatization for future is their policy. In other words, we are going to then make Social Security private. We are now, that is a part of the Republican orthodoxy, a part of what they intend to do now. They want to say, okay, let's have 401ks for everybody. Folks, two problems with that. 2008, what happened? And secondly, there is no way you can have persons that are making small wages save enough money when they can't even save with the amount of wages they have, and put it into a private system that will sustain them when they leave. It's utterly and entirely impossible. It's not at all possible. So folks, that is the fourth thing that they hear. But in the process of saying this, they use terminologies that were given to them by the Heritage Foundation and all these think tanks that are conservative based, so that they can offload Social Security from the government, which is also yet another big tax cut for corporations. People that are telling us we still need to keep the streets, the military. They want the big military still and all of that, and they want us to do that. Folks, we have to think through a second level of indirection, but it's not only thinking through a second level of indirection, it's also being able to explain to these things in a manner that our good Republican friends can understand. So, for the older folks, there's nothing to tell them. Their Social Security is safe. But there are not enough older folks that are Republicans to keep the Republican Party alive. So the people that we have to attack now are the Gen Xers and the millennials, because what the intent is to pill for that group of Republicans. And you know what? They don't care. Remember, they do their damage, they go home. Look at Foreign Hole. He did his damage in Congress, went home, became a lobbyist. He's back in Washington, $160-something thousand a year before the perks. And after the perks, it's probably going to be double that. We have to understand how we talk to people. We have to understand how this is done. We have to understand the mechanics of what is occurring, folks. We really need to. We really need to. We really need to. Now, the last item, they will uphold the Second Amendment at all cost. It doesn't matter if right here in Texas, 10 kids, right, 9 kids and an adult got murdered in cold blood by one of their own. By one of their own, not an immigrant, one of their own. By their own, I mean an American terrorist. Killed 10 people. Look at all the school shootings in America today. They weren't done by immigrants, and there are more people that were killed in all these mass shootings than any murder, any immigrant, any isolated immigrant may have committed. You see, people, science is so important. When people make decisions that are not based on science, is the most difficult thing to accept. Science is what matters. And what we have to instill in people is the reason we have science. Because when you don't have science, you can have ignorance. When you have ignorance, you can have people vote against their own interests or make decisions that they shouldn't be making because of a false backdrop, a false backstop. Science. There's a time when education mattered. There's a time where intelligence mattered. Yes, it's not there right now. On the deep right, yes, it's missing. But it's your job to put it there. It is our job to do it. And that's why there's a Politics Done Right. That's why there's a Daily Coast. That's why there's an op-ed news. That's why we ask you to support programs like ours, because when you watch your news, when you watch cable news, you don't hear people trying to distill the entire picture in such a manner that it doesn't necessarily change the minds of those individual Republicans, but it creates the army of progressives with the necessary knowledge and the necessary know-how to go out there and do and make the change. And that's all we're doing here. That's all we're trying to do. That is all we're trying to do. Now, after the event, I asked a former candidate in the race if he genuinely believes in a deep state. He said yes. I asked if he thought everything these candidates were saying. He confirmed that he did. Folks, this is an alternate reality. He promised to come on my Politics Done Right show to discuss further, where I intend to civilly, nicely counter his points. But, that isn't the end of my adventure. While speaking to the former candidate, a woman patiently waited. She stood there and heard us talk, and I kind of wondered what she was doing there, but she patiently stayed there, and she watched what I was talking to the other guy. And she stayed, and while speaking to the former candidate, a woman patiently waited. She asked me in a kind voice, she was a very nice woman, what I was doing at the event. And she said, I see you at Starbucks every day with your laptop, she said. When I saw you come in, I started to laugh because I knew you were not here for the candidates. Why couldn't I be there for the candidates? I mean, I don't know why not. I have relatives that are Republicans. Is it maybe that they would not have been welcome there? I don't know. Look, I had never spoken or noticed her before. How could she know? She said that we have a friend in common. She then went on a rant on immigrants. Kevin attempted to give her some immigrant history to no avail. I chimed in, but she was not listening, but waiting to get her talking points in our sphere. I gave her a hug and a card and asked her to read my blog, even if it hurts. I will try to engage her if I see her in Starbucks. Truth is, I never remember seeing her. But she says she knows me. Wow. Now, I left there first amused. But then I felt very, very, very sorry for the citizens there. And I know they're winning. I mean, they're getting their judges. They're getting all of this. But to live in that state of ignorance, to live in that state of confusion, to live in that state of fear, I don't know. It's hard. To think that people that look like me so dangerous to you, that you okay when cops shoot us down. To think that you are so misinformed about folks that look like us or other people of color or otherwise that you forget that most of the people this government is helping don't look like me or don't look like those other people of color. They look like the room that I was in. For you to not realize that the liberal tenets, the states that actually are living by the progressive tenets or as best they can, are actually donors to your states. Those of us living, or those that are living in liberal progressive states, are the ones sending monies, their dollars, to the right-wing states. All this is there, but they don't know it. And if I just tell them one time, Fox News is there to tell them the stats in a different form. And people are busy. People don't have the time to go do their own research. So they depend on trusted people to help them. Why am I engaging people? I want, in all honesty, and a lot of people think it's a fool's errand, but I've proved that it isn't. I want to earn the trust of not only my great liberal and progressive brothers and sisters. Believe it or not, I want to earn the trust of my right-wing brothers and sisters, my right-wing Trumpists, my right-wing anarchists. Because that is how we make the change. And you have people always say, let's change. No, it's deeper. You can't do it alone. And progressives have to get that as well. The numbers game. Obama was the best person at numbers, but as I wrote in a blog yesterday, before Obama went to the micro targeting modal, Obama softened the field. That's why in Kingwood, I went to the homes of Kingwood is a very conservative area. I went to the homes of many Republicans with Obama's books. With Obama's books that were touching to them. And I walked in. I never remember walking in. I remember walking into this woman's home. And she said, hey, have you read his book yet? Have you read his book? No. And when it was time for people to walk around and give their testimonials, I was in a room filled with Republicans who were voting for this Democrat because Obama went and spoke to a whole lot of colleges, gave out his book at these colleges. These kids brought home their book and said, Mom, Dad, you got to read this, man. And it softened up enough of these folks that they gave him that winning chance. And a lot of people don't get that. They just think it was a whole bunch of Democrats that gave Obama that win in the primary or even in the general. What they don't understand is how he campaigned. And the truth of the matter is, I think in a lot of ways he could have done a better job if he hadn't had some of the chains around him. And I won't say who had the chains around him, but some of the chains around him. But you as progressives, you don't have those. And you can do whatever the hell you want in order to get our message across. In order to get what we need to get done. You can definitely do that. It is so important. It is so important. So let me end the blog. I left there at first amused, but then feeling so sorry for the citizens there. The politicians know better. The politicians know better. These people live in an alternate state, one of whose genesis is the Powell Memo. And I have a link to that, folks. Please do read the Powell Memo. I linked to a blog that references the Powell Memo because I want you to read the blog first. Where they are nothing but the widgets to allow a select few to continue the pilfering of America. Folks, let me tell you, we got a lot of work. But if you really are into this, if you're an activist, let me back up. You don't even have to be an activist. You can just be a regular person who know that you need to make a difference. And all you have to do is engage. All you have to do is be truthful. All you have to do is try your best to be a part of making a difference. That's all you got to do. So let me go ahead and talk to my dear, great, beautiful folk. Actually, the light of my life, my folks on the show. Let's see what you had to say. And I hope you had some stuff to say. I think I saw quite a bit of stuff scrolling. So let me get to my scroll and see first if I have so. Chase Escamilla, relate. I hear you, my brother. Michael Rudnin, my regulars. The higher tax blue states support the red states. Yes, and I wrote several blogs about that. Senator Obama campaigned as a progressive, a very progressive. And if you read my article that's coming out on Sunday, at Daily Kos, you'll see what I'm talking about, including margins of victories, etc. Harsh video. I think I corrected that and was the worst. They're right. Let's see now. Better. When will it stop? Too low for now. Okay, I get that. Okay, let's see who else we have here. Lawrence Sims in Texas. He can be classified and tried as an adult. We'll see if they do that. Happy birthday, Bill. Bill McCloy. Thank you so kindly for wishing me a happy birthday. And you know what, Bill? You opened the door for me to make another quick ask. Folks, if you want to give Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, a birthday gift, become a subscriber of Politics Done Right by simply going out to Patreon.com, patreon.com/politics done right. Let's make a difference. Let's go out there and make a difference. Let's go ahead and show people that we can change. We can be the agents of change like we're doing. You do need programs like Politics Done Right. You do need websites like Daily Kos and Op-Ed News to be out there countering the misinformation that all these people are having. So please support me and Politics Done Right and all these other organizations at patreon.com/politics done right. Okay, and remember, this is a call-in show. You can give us a call at 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. All right, let me continue. Senor Gibson, a whole lot of rednecks. Yeah, you know, there are a lot of rednecks, and, you know, they don't mind them calling themselves rednecks. And so I would talk to some of these guys, and they say, "Oh, Egberta, you know I'm just a redneck," and da-da-da. And I'll be like, you know, redneck brother, you eat, you bleed, and you do everything like I do as well, my brother. And, you know, you have to get on a playing field with these folks. Rachel Port, thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. Michael Rudden, I'm quite happy to see you are changing the show format. Keep the FB chat open. Immediately reply or awesome. I try my best. The problem is I need to find, I'll be honest with you, the way the Facebook website works, it doesn't give me a good thing to read the messages. I have to do some research on that to see if there's a preferable way to read messages, and then I would be able to, if I can get another screen here that is able to do that, I'll do that. If I find that there's a solution to that, I promise you, my dear brothers and sisters, that's what I will do. Now here is the deal. It's your blackness, Michael. I didn't know I was black. Come on now. I am not a black man. Look, you can't hide from who you are, brother. You really can't hide from who you are. You can't hide from who you are. And you know what? I enjoy the conversation. I even enjoy the attacks at times. And the reason I do is because I think I'm able to open doors. You know, there are a lot of people, they look at me, a lot of white people look at me, and the first thing that comes is fear. The second thing that happens, and sometimes it increases your ego, and then sometimes it pisses you off. I was sitting down next to a table to a right-wing guy, and he said, "But you know what? The problem is you're just so intelligent." And I'm like, ho, 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 ho. You know, a normal person would look at that and is like, what exactly does he mean? What he meant is, you're black, but you're also intelligent. That doesn't really compute with me. The reality is most blacks, most whites, most everybody else are intelligent. Just a whole lot of times, folks are ill-informed. That's all. It's nothing more, nothing less, nothing more, nothing less. But folks, continuing, conservatives used to be the party of law and order. Now they are distrustful. It is just Trump and Russia that caused that shift. I wonder. No. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters. Trump, the issues that we're seeing, I call it the Trump effect, right? We do that as a shortcut. But President Obama said it best, and I'm so sorry I didn't see a question like this before. Otherwise, what I would have done is I would have brought up one of those videos that he said. And he said, Donald Trump didn't start this. Obama said, Donald Trump did. Where were you guys when everybody else were talking about the birther situation? Where were you guys when everybody was talking about the welfare mom and who they were? Where were you guys? So, I mean, there are a lot of these issues. Where were you guys when you were demonizing people of color? Where were you guys where all these other Republicans were demonizing immigrants? It did not start with Trump. What Trump noticed is that it had the effect. And on a year where Republicans were sure to lose, they weaponized evil. The Russians helped them weaponize evil with subliminal messages through social media, the power of social media. It wasn't an accident, people. And Trump was just the manifestation. Trump is the instantiation of every evil that Republicans have been perpetrating over the last 30 years. It comes with his immorality. It comes with his financial acumen. It comes with all these other things. It did not start with Trump. He just took it in, and in what we would call when I was learning, he was just an op amp. We put a signal in, and he just expanded that signal that was already there. So let's not ever sit down and think this is only Trump. So Michael Rednan, what you just said there was profound. What you just asked, dear Michael, was profound. Birther hack email start the operation info. You're correct again, Chase Escamilla, but then you always are. Studio mode. I'm not sure what you meant by that, but we'll talk about that. I like the fire. I kind of think I know what that means. Let's see what else I have here from my people. Chase K. Escamilla link. Oh, he's looking for a link, guy. Help Escamilla out on our page. You know we help out each other here. We are not Ayn Randian type of folks. Let's see if we have any more things coming in right now. And if not, I'll just give a short soliloquy. And after, you know me, I can give soliloquy. When people go on, they do these, what do you call those things again? Filibusters, right? They give filibusters, and people say, well, how are they going to find items to talk about? Hey, I need to become a senator because there's so much stuff to talk about. We can bring up political issues, social issues, gender issues, all these things that I just love to articulate about, So, but I really prefer to hear from you guys. So anybody want to call 646-716-5812, and if not, I'll continue reading everything on Facebook. If you're on Facebook Live right now and you want to drop me a line in Facebook Live as well, you can send it to me and I'll read it out. Additionally, folks, I do take requests and invitations to progressives that I don't know about. So if there is a progressive that I don't know about that you think ought to get some airtime, you go ahead and make sure to send it to info@politicsdoneright.com. info@politicsdoneright.com. So I'm going to get down into my, since I don't have anybody else talking at this point in time, I want to tell you guys one very important thing. And that is, here in Texas, today is the last day of early voting. If you haven't voted, go vote today. If you don't vote today, you can wait until I think it's Tuesday that we have the general primary election. Please remember to vote. We have to go out there and vote in the primaries for the most progressive person. We really do. So I'm urging you, whether you're in Texas, whether you're in California, Oklahoma, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, please do. I got a caller here, and let's bring that caller in. Caller, you are in at 917. Come on in.
Oh, hi, Egberto. What do you think of the Yulin Dog Festival?
Which festival is that, sir?
Yulin Dog Festival. In China, they're killing 10,000 dogs and cats. I wanted to see your opinion on it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. That is, wow, somebody asked me a question that I don't know. Tell our audience about that. Tell them what's happening because I'm not aware of it.
All right, so there's the Yulin Dog Festival started in 2009. Every year since then, they've stolen pets from neighborhood homes, captured dogs from all over the place, and brought them to the festival to be tortured and slaughtered for their meat. Frankly, it's horrific what they're doing. I was hoping that you were aware of it.
I am not aware of that. I don't believe in killing. In fact, the dogs and look, there are cultural issues that really is above my pay grade. What is your name again, sir?
Michael Rudnin.
Michael, let me just say, there are certain things that are over my pay grade, right? My gut feeling is I love dogs, I love cats, and all these kinds of things. Now, in India, they love cows. We kill cows for meat here, and in other places, but we protect our horses. But in other countries, they eat horses. Let me tell you what I don't want to do as a host. I don't want to come under the impression that I know more than I know, or that somehow I can be a good arbiter of what's right here. So I leave that up to you and the audience as far as where to go with that. Let me just tell you, I abhor what you just said. I hate that there's this stuff that they're torturing animals. I hate that. But again, I don't want to be the person that comes onto this not knowing enough to make a good statement about it. So I appreciate you bringing that, my brother. Anything else you want to add before we close down the show?
No, I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for being a constant listener and for what you do inside of our room. You play a vital role on this program, so thank you so kindly. Let's continue here now, my friends. We are coming to the end of the program, and this is where I am going to give my final pitch as far as asking you to become subscribers, asking you to share all these shows. It's important. We have to make a difference. So I'm asking you is first of all, there are several ways you can help the progressive movement, Politics Done Right, and all these other places. And first and foremost is to share the information that you get from these places, either by sharing the videos, sharing the audio, sharing the blogcast, sharing the vlogcast, sharing the blogs. In the case of the Politics Done Right, I ask you to share from blogs egbertowillies.com, theliberalnetwork.com, singlepayerhealthcarenow.com, faileddemocrats.com, and I forget some of the other websites that we run here. Likewise, I ask you, just like I do, and let me preamble this by saying this. I don't ask you anything that I won't do myself. I am a subscriber, a paid subscriber to democratitunderground.com, to opednews.com, to thedailycoast.com, to coffeepartyusa.com, to our Democratic Party county and state, and a few others that I can't recall at this time. Why do I do that? Small donations, each of them. These are not big donations that I give to any particular one of these organizations. But I feel a responsibility to donate to these organizations because these are organizations that supposedly are moving the progressive movement forward and ensuring that we keep our people informed in the case of Op-Ed News, Democratic Underground, and Daily Coast. And by the way, I also write for the Daily Coast. Let me get somebody coming in before I finish making my ask. It looks like we have another caller, and I want to bring that person in. Come on in, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're here, sir. You have 1 minute.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Oh, man, in 1 minute. I was just I was piggybacking off of how you were talking about how Trump used the fear part to win the election.
Right.
And I don't think I have a minute. It's kind of going over how they use Samsung TVs, House of Cards. It took them about 1 week.
I know where you're going. Is this Escamilla? Is this Escamilla?
Yes. Yes,
let's talk about that on Monday.
How are you guys today?
Let's talk about that on Monday, because that is a very important thing that you just said there. Okay, I mean it is very important, Chase. So I mean, let's talk about that on Monday.
We're coming up on the 2-year period.
Right.
Remember, 2 years.
Yes.
CNN just said it's 2 years.
Right.
So we're going to start seeing the technical and what they use, and hopefully people will pay attention.
Look,
I don't know.
Let's talk about that. I'm going to give you some airtime to actually bring that up next time. Okay. All right, let's go, folks. Let me tell you now. So let me continue. So as I was mentioning to you guys before, I make sure to do that, and many of us do that. What I ask you to do is make Politics Done Right one of those issues. And what are you going to get for that? By the way, I have the content table of content of my new book that I'm going to be putting on the for those people who are subscribers as well. As I write chapters of the book, I'm going to release it for those people who become subscribers of the show. Likewise, I want to ask you to just go ahead and share, even if you cannot, in good conscience, afford to be a subscriber. At least share the subscription link with friends of yours that you know have the wherewithal to subscribe to a show that is going to be moving our message forward, that is going to bring on progressive candidates, etc. Because the other side really has support, and we generally have to beg very hard for support to move a real message forward, to move something forward, to get ahead. So for those listening on the radio that can't see the screen, I ask you to go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. That is patreon.com/politicsdoneright. All one word. patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Be a subscriber. Join us. Help us do the job. We don't only do it here in Houston. We are a national organization, and we do it everywhere. And with that, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. visit patreon.com/politicsdoneright and be a subscriber. Love you guys. And you know what? I am out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Williams. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Williams. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.